Have I ever been a loser? Have I participated in activities that made me a loser? Yes.
Really, it's laughable. You need to stop talking about video games, music, politics, and I don't know, get back in the kitchen, you stupid bitch.
This is how Ranting for Vengeance responded to Melonie Mac. Now, I'm not a really huge fan of his. I've talked about him a couple of times on the channel. Overall, his reviews are fake, and he doesn't actually talk about the substance of the material. He just throws in a lot of very charged buzzwords to try and make people think that something has a very heavy political message when, it doesn't. I talk a little bit about that over here in this video, the absolute worst Batman review. But with regards to Melonie Mac, I more or less agree with the things he has to say about her.
Just shut up already. You're spouting these milquetoast takes that contribute absolutely nothing. I don't know why people are bringing you on their podcasts. You're not funny, you're not insightful, you're not controversial. What you are is a 40-year-old hag LARPing as a 15-year-old emo. Newsflash, you stupid bitch. Saying that God is good over and over doesn't make you a real Christian.
As Ranting for Vengeance mentioned, she isn't somebody who actually has a very strong opinion about a lot of things. Sure, she likes to call people bundles of sticks a lot, but when you even look at her last video, she was actually accusing the people who disagreed with her of being homophobic. She was saying, oh yeah, you guys talk a lot about how you don't like, the gay agenda being in things, but you're okay with, there being sexy women. That makes you a hypocrite. And that means that you're unfairly targeting gay people. Oh, the horror. I agree with Ranting for Vengeance that Melonie Mac doesn't really have a lot of substance, and a lot of the hype around her is very superficial. In my opinion, she's just LARPing as a conservative wearing a skin suit. I think a prime example of this is just look at how this whole controversy started. The clip of a video game called The First Descendant went viral. It showed a character named Luna shaking her butt. She was wearing a one-piece swimsuit, and Melony responded like this, saying that she was for having beautiful woman figures, but she was also against a gooner game. Now, for those who don't understand what that means, a gooner is someone who is chronically addicted to touching themselves for self-pleasure. Now you might be thinking, well, what's the problem here? This is just the opinion you expect from the average middle-aged woman. But as I explain over here in this video, to goon or not to goon, that is a question, Melonie Mac exposes herself as a total hypocrite. I thoroughly examine how Melonie Mac actually built her audience with the complete opposite take of this. For months now, she's been advocating for games like Stellar Blade, which were way more sexualized than this one. Now, a lot of these people will claim if you disagree with me, it's just because you're a degenerate or a pervert or an addict, to self-pleasuring. But I think that's undermining the actual concern that most of the audience members have. And now we're seeing that a lot of these YouTube channels, which are supposedly, advocates for the fans and the fandom, are actually making the same mistakes that all of these big corporations that they've been complaining about have been doing for ages. They'll always talk about, oh, Disney insults their fans. They say that you're a Nazi if you disagree with them. Yet here they're saying that if you disagree with me, it's because you're a pervert, a degenerate, and also possessed.
Okay, I know a lot of you aren't even going to hear what I'm saying, and you're still going to be doing these whataboutisms in my comments because you are so defensive. But hey, maybe some will listen. Same with like the queers and all that. You ever see how it just sounds like you're arguing with demons? It's the same way. These demons have a hold on these people, and they can't be reasoned with because they are so engulfed in their perversion.
And yet just months prior, these creators were all saying the same things that the fans are saying now. I don't think that most of the people who are upset with Melonie Mac are degenerates or even, chronic gooners or anything like that. I think most of them just have something else, something I'm going to call Winston Smith syndrome. Now, if you've ever read the book 1984, the protagonist Winston Smith was a lot more perceptive than those around him. He realized that most of the things that his society believed were actually lies. For years, his society, and especially the government, talked about how they were at war with another superpower called Eurasia. Then suddenly, on a dime, they pivoted and say, we were never at war with Eurasia, we have always been at war with East Asia. And in order to avoid public persecution, they had to pretend that this was always true, that they were always at war with East Asia, even though that was a complete lie. Similarly, a lot of Melonie Mac's fans are suffering from Winston Smith syndrome. They noticed that the things that Melonie Mac had been saying for months are all suddenly thrown out the window. And if they don't pivot instantly, then...
I got canceled from the anti-woke side, right? Canceled or cancel attempt. It is what it is.
They're canceling Melonie Mac. This isn't really the first time you'll see such a stark contradiction. Just take a look at this video over here where Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said he was a huge fan of The Last Jedi. He saw it 3 times in the theater and gave it an 8 out of 10, calling it a beautiful film. Now he claims to have a much different opinion. I don't think Melonie Mac is the first person to try and make all of her audience, doublethink and retcon an entire year of her content. Could this be one of the reasons why so many big creators are rushing to her aid? Let's take a quick look to see what Razorfist had to say about this whole Melonie Mac situation.
For sure.
This one's for Razor. Thoughts on Melonie Mac losing her mind?
That video was based. You're out of your mind.
I haven't seen her videos lately, but I know she's saying a lot of gamer words.
Some people were saying that Razor was just joking, but let's take a look at how he's elaborated on Twitter.
No credible person would shoot the Christian messenger for pointing out this self-evident fact. Okay, first of all, 2 things. Using formal and eloquent language to say that I simp for Melonie Mac is not impressive. Second thing, nobody's shooting the Christian messenger because the messenger isn't a Christian.
Now, I agree with Razor that you don't need to have woke or caustically degenerate as the only 2 options. I just don't think that's the correct label for this game. And if it is, then suddenly all of these people now need to address how they've been pushing caustically degenerate things for years now. Again, I think that the biggest issue here with Melonie's audience and other people in the space is that they feel that they've been lied to. So Ranting for Vengeance claims that Razorfist is a Melonie Mac simp. Maybe that's true, but you really have to see what the quartering has said about the whole situation. Now, there is a guy called Smash JT. I have no idea who he is, so maybe he's a good guy, maybe he's a bad guy, I can't tell you. And he's been covering this whole Melonie Mac situation. One of her fans asked if she could watch those videos, and she responded with this. I didn't watch this video. I just know what little I've seen from him has been in bad faith. He is grifting big on this. Hope the money is worth it. I'd rather just keep my integrity. To me, the whole argument of bad faith is very interesting because you can argue that anybody who doesn't like you is coming from a place of bad faith. Oh, he's just saying this because he doesn't like me. And maybe it's true that these people don't like you or possibly even hate you, but that doesn't make their criticism false. This whole situation reminds me of Eric July. When he was offered a critique, he said that he thought he was the Michael Jordan of comic books.
Like this person doesn't even, they don't possess that level of expertise to even understand this position. Why would you have to hear them out? It's like Michael Jordan trying to listen to fucking Kwame Brown, you know what I mean, about how to play the game of basketball. That's nonsense. He can't hear him out. You haven't been in those shoes.
Despite the fact he was getting a lot of the same criticisms from his fans as his supposed haters, he said this critique was coming from a place of bad faith. An inability to listen to his fans and customers has cost him hugely, not just with the decline in sales, but several legal battles. I could talk about this whole situation for hours, but that's not really the objective of this video and I don't have the time to do it. I have a docuseries which covers this whole saga, and if you'd be interested in learning more about this situation here I'm talking about, go ahead and wait till the end of the video where I have a link to the 2nd episode. Now back to Smash JT and Melonie Mac, where she claims that he is coming from a place of bad faith. He says, "You admitted that you didn't watch my content and you're forming opinions against me." But then beneath that you see Vito Giswaldi, who said, "She's a woman, dude. Consistency of thought is not possible for her." The quartering then responds to Smash JT white knighting for Melonie Mac. This dude has been crying about Melonie Mac all night. It's honestly really pathetic. Play your titty games all you want, but stop moralizing, acting like you're defending the honor of her scorned fans. It's pathetic, bro. To which Smash T responded,
"Cut it out. Stop simping now."
The quartering shot back. So is the quartering right, or is he just coping? Let's take a quick look at his comment section and see how people responded. She posted a video of herself, and here we see the quartering just goggling her. So is the quartering a simp? How could you say otherwise? I can't say no after seeing this meme. Now there's another creator whose opinion really stuck out to me. That was Camelot331. In a sense, Camelot was defending Melony, but he was also arguing against her. Let me play that clip here.
Oh, but I talked to Melonie Mac today. Because, man, look, I get it. I get why people are pissed, and I also don't get why people are pissed, right? And let me explain what I'm saying here. I don't see why people are so angry to the point where I clicked on a stream yesterday, right? And disclaimer, I disagree with Melony. I want ass cheeks in games. I want more of it, right? So we disagree on that front, right? I'm not religious. I disagree on all that. I get it, right? And I explained that thoroughly in my video today. You know, why I disagree with a lot of the stuff. But I don't understand the passion. I clicked on a stream yesterday, and like there was, multiple people on a panel, and every single person was like fuck Melony, like how dare she's fucking a hypocrite, fuck, and there was like veins popping out of their head, and I'm like, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Melonie Mac is not a congressperson advocating for anything. She just said she doesn't want ass cheeks in her face, and she doesn't want her games to have that in there. She did not advocate for the government banning anything. The only thing she advocates for on her social media, as in opinion, is banning porn. That's it. She wasn't talking about banning video games. And like, so where's the passion? Like, what makes you say, "Oh fuck, Melon," and you have like veins poking out of your head and you're shaking? Where does that come from?
Camelot says this whole situation isn't a big deal. I agree that the video game scene isn't a big deal at all. It's not even that big of a component of the game, and even if it were, there are millions of things which are way more degenerate than this that are plaguing our society. But I think this whole space tries to tap into the negative energy of 2018 with The Last Jedi and kind of perpetually make these rage cycles where they get people super pent up and worried about specific video games or maybe a TV show, and they act like they care a lot when they really don't. And I think that's kind of the case with Stellar Blade. I really don't think that Stellar Blade was all that important of a video game. I'm not a huge gamer, so maybe I'm wrong, but I think that, this whole sphere was talking about Stellar Blade for months and months, and that video game was relatively insignificant, but it was used to form a narrative and also farm a lot of rage from their audience. And now months later, Melonie's trying to farm rage from her audience once again, only from the completely opposite angle. I think the incongruencies of Goonergate have actually caused a massive awakening amongst her audience. People realize that a lot of the things she talks about probably aren't that sincere or genuine. It's just a means for her to farm clicks and views, and she doesn't really believe a lot of the things she says, she just wants attention. I don't think she's the only person who does this either, and I believe that's why she's being protected by the likes of the Quartering. And while he may act all high and mighty now about her audience rebelling, the Quartering actually sparked several civil wars amongst the audiences of other big creators. He did it twice to Tim Pool with Jack Murphy and then later with Eliza Blue. But now that the chickens are coming home to roost, he isn't so happy. As you can see, there's a wide spectrum of how people feel about Melonie Mac. There are people like the Quartering who are starkly on her side, others like Ranting for Vengeance who dislike her, and then there's people like Camelot who disagree with her but still like her. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, or...
You are a hoe ass